just 3 minutes. We left it enough time. We've started the recording, so those who haven't seen it will be able to have a look at this later on, downloading it from the web somewhere. All right, welcome to this webinar, where we'll be looking at what news we have in Ocean Next and some more. So we'll just start with what we have. And just as a suggestion here, we're not too many, so if there are any questions, let me know. Yell out or let me know, or we'll have a question session towards the end of the presentation as well. So I think that will be good. But if there is something urgent, let me know, and then we'll get that question straight away. All right, Ocean Next 2.0. We'll look a little bit at the changes and what is new in this version of Ocean Next. One of the big changes is the modification and the change to a new database structure. So we've moved from an Access database and have a SQLite database, which now improves both security, the data security as one important step, and also speed. It improves the speed, the access speed of the data in the database quite a lot. We've had some feedback from the market already of users, power users, that are quite happy with the new speed with which it loads and starts and activates templates, the larger templates when we're in there. Then, of course, there are some bugs fixed. As with all software, there are bugs, big and small, and more than 100 bugs have been fixed since the last release. And we've also expanded the number of K-factors for the seat dose profiler measurements of CTDI and the CD sphere. We also added some new MAMO calibrations. For the Piranha, there is a tungsten and titanium, and a tungsten aluminum for a class type of new MAMO, another MAMO manufacturer, MAMO machine. And that's for the Piranha. Those are brand new calibrations. Then we have some other ones that we've added to the dose probe. It's the tungsten copper calibration that has been added to the calibrations available for the dose probe, for the RTI dose probe, where we have the extended calibrations. So those are new in calibration. For CT, there are some new being added for Siemens specifically. We've made some changes there. But what we see is that it's not totally brand new. It's actually rebranding of existing calibrations, and then just made a little bit more clearer what they are for, and the description of them are a little bit more clear and easier to understand in the selection in Quick Check. So those are a few of the news and that has happened in general. Then they've added some features where we have in the home screen, we've added a message panel. Not only the message, the mailbox up here, but we do have a new area, a new field, a panel where messages can appear in the home screen. And what type, we'll see what type of messages a little bit later on. But that's a message panel that is a new feature. Also new is the possibility to export the PDF reports from multiple measurements. So directly by right-clicking and then exporting, choosing export measurement. We can export the complete measurements as before in an OMEX file, or just export the reports as PDF file or PDF files of multiple measurements. Hasn't been possible before. Well, that's a bit of a news. Then we look at a big new feature, which is from some users. We've got some positive response with a calibration reminder. So we have this field here, which is lights up in red if we've passed the recommended calibration date. And as we get closer, before we reach the recommended calibration date, 2 years from the latest calibration, it turns yellow. First there's a yellow light, and then when the date has passed, that light turns red. So we see that up here. It says your RTI system is out of compliance, and whichever one it is you've been using that is out of calibration. You get that serial number pops up there, and this same message pops up here in the message box, so that it's clear what the information is all about. So that's one possible way of going. If we click on the message below, this is what it looks like. You get the calibration reminder and what date it is and what serial number of unit that's due for calibration or overdue for calibration. If we click on this, there's some more information box there. If we click on this one, you get a slightly different view of it. It says time to calibrate, and you get the serial number and some more information on what to do and what forms to fill out. If you follow the link here, it takes you to the support page where you fill out the calibration forms, etc. So it helps you in that way. And then if for some reason the unit is not sent in for calibration or is not recalibrated, you will also have a notice and a reminder of that in the reports. So there'll be a watermark on the report saying that the system that you're using is then has been due for calibration, and so you get a warning for that. So you're not issuing reports without of calibration instruments. So that's another feature. And we got pretty good and positive feedback from the test persons that we've had out in the field. All right, looking at the template design and the using of templates, we'll see that we have some new features in that functionality. The first one is something we call test view, where you'll see that there's recognize the home page or the backstage, and there's a new button here which is called test, and that takes us in. It used to be studio, but now it's called test. So it takes us into the mode that we call test view. And when we do that, we go down to this view, which is then the test view. It looks similar to what we've had before in the studio, but if you take a closer look, you'll see that it is reduced options to what we can do when we're in here. And the idea is to separate and have a more clearer run view or a user view of the template and the execution of the templates. So we're separating the design of the templates from the execution of the templates, and the execution of templates and the using of the templates is what we have in this test view. So here you see up top it says measure, edit, and help. There's no design, there's no appearance, etc. So it's quite reduced. And the idea of having it this way is that, well, with this we can then optimize it for running templates, to optimize the usage of it so that it's clearer, easier to understand. With that, when we go down and select a template, we just right click on it, we get new measurement, the default selection of it. So there's no open or design, it's just a new measurement. That means that with test view, we just run the templates. That's the idea. We don't fiddle around, we don't modify the templates. The idea is to start the template quickly, easily, and intuitively in the design. So that's what we do. If we click on the new measurement, we also see that the template opens now to the first test in the template. So if you have several pages, the template will always open and activate the first row of the first test, the first page in the template. Used to be that it opened up onto the summary page, and then you'd have to again make a step to start measuring and start using the template. Now with test view, it starts and activates the first row of the first page in the template, so that you're ready to go as soon as quicker than before. Also new is the set panels. We've got a panel here with set values in the template, so that we can operate it a little bit more from a little bit more distance. It's clear what we have to set, the values that we have to define, and what technique to set on the X-ray machine. And here what we have is a set mass. It's with a green header. That's taken from the column. That's set values that may change, that you have in a column. So you need to observe it and be observant. The one with a gray header, it's those that are set values in general settings, which are up here. So they don't change from exposure to exposure. To modify these set values, sorry, you can, like before, click in the cell and then change the value. But you can also then click here in the display, the set value display, and enter a new value. So those two are connected. And if you don't like that view, if you think that is confusing, of course you can always use the set value panel, which you have up here, right there on the top. You can choose that one and toggle the set panel on or off. So this one brings you back to a normal, or the traditional view, so to speak. And also with the test view, we've also automated the design, or the look and the appearance of the screen. So you've got the grid, you've got your waveform, you've got the analysis window. And this is then automatically placed to, for easier and easiest configuration of it. So this is what it looks like if you got the set panel off, and when you bring the set panel on again, you've got them, and you have a slightly different view in this respect, right around like that. All right. There is a possibility then of you see here, there's no design possibility or change possibility of it, but there is some ways of modifying the tests that you're using. So you can use the tab called Edit, and if you do, there's some things that you can do. You can insert rows, or you can delete rows in the grid. you can go into the analysis and change the pass-fail limits. If you go and modify the analysis, you can modify the report to some extent, and you can also add pages to the report. So you can add tests into that template, so you have multiple page templates if you've got the Ocean Professional, of course. So those are the some of the functionalities they can do. There's no real design functionality in the test view, but some edits, some modifications that allows the user some degrees of freedom when running the templates. All right. Then when we also want to add some or highlight some examples here about the RTI examples, which can then be used as a start for it. So we do have a bunch of examples of templates, and they're loaded here under, if we take a little bit closer, you see you've got templates. If we go under testing, there are examples RTI. We've got checklists, and we've got templates in gray unit, and also MR or Röntgen unit. So those are two, they're the same. It's just mirrored, it's just the same. The only thing is the unit of measure. But if you've got gray, you've got multi-page sessions and single-page sessions. And there's a whole bunch of them. For instance, for CTDI with the CT dose profiler, that has been missing a little bit since Ocean 2014, where we had that possibility in the examples in QuickCheck. But that was from a programming and a program structure point of view, difficult to maintain. And a little bit unclear, so it was then separated, and unfortunately there's been a little bit of a gap until now, when we have added the possibility of including prompting in the templates like we had in the application. So if we start this one, for example, it pops up like it does before, and you're prompted then to decide what kind of CT scanner are we using, or are we running on, what kind of KVs, etc. Just those. So you'll be prompted again and guided through the setup of this template, so that you get into a well-defined start when you're running this kind of template. And again, here you see you've got the panel, the set value panel to your left when we're running on this. So that's a little bit of a help where you can get started with this. And in a while, David will show us how that can be done in a smart way using the favorites folder. So if you look at, so that's a predefined template we have, and they can then also, of course, be modified and changed to whatever is most common for the user, but there's a start. There's a good way of getting started using the RTI examples. So if you look at those more, we've got several for CTDI, and we've got geometric efficiency and all kinds of stuff here. And if we then open it, it's you see that we have more, not only for CT, but we have also for MAMO, AGD applications, etc. So, and there are more. I just show you a couple of examples of that. You see, you've got dental panoramic fluoroscopy and things there that are useful or could be useful for the end user. All right. Fair enough. All right. So with this, We'll be looking at a little bit of a live demo, and to my help, I'm happy to have Mr. Testson, David Gustafsson at support. So I'll hand it back to David if you're ready.
Thank you, Erik. I just want to check you. Hope you can see my screen.
Yep.
Yeah, great. All right. So as Erik mentioned, I shall view the usage of favorites and also some of the news he mentioned with the CT dose profiler templates. So just to begin, what is the favorites that he mentioned? That's a quick and easy access to start your measurements, and we have a button for that here. And if you haven't assigned any templates as favorites before, if you click on it, you will see an information box that you don't have any favorites, and it has a short explanation what it does, that you can store templates in the favorites folder and easily start the measurements by clicking on that button. So yeah, let's assign some templates as favorites. So the best way to do this is to go to the test view, and so that you can view your database tree. And you can see here under templates that we have the favorites folder. Right now it's empty, but we shall pick and mix some of our RTI examples, and we are going to drag them from the RTI examples tree into the favorites folder. So as soon as you drag these templates, they are copied and you receive a copy in the favorites folder. And you can pick and mix whatever you need here, depending on your needs. So if you do a lot of CT measurements, you have a great selection here. There is also for scatter and leakage and other modalities as well, where you could pick and mix from. You're not limited in using the RTI examples. You can also use your own templates that you have built and also add those in the favorites folder. But enough about that. Let's get started. So now when I click on the favorite button here, we will see the 3 templates that I just recently added to the favorites folder. So as soon as I click on one of these templates, Ocean will start a new measurement based on that. And now with the CT dose profiler template, it will prompt me with the new CT scanner and model list, where you can select which manufacturer and model you're working with. And as Erik mentioned, this is an important step because this is what selects the K factor for the CT dose profiler that is used when evaluating the CTDI results. But with the correct model picked, you are ready to start measuring. And yeah, here again we have the test view, and one thing to also mention here is that we have recycled the measurement controls from QuickCheck, because they are more user-friendly to use. And so if I were to just start a measurement here, you can see that we get all the CTDI parameters calculated here. And this is all because we have already selected a CT model for this machine. So yeah, that's the small steps I wanted to mention. There is one thing else that I can mention. Erik was already on this with that we have some limited edit functionality with these functions here, where you can make some small edits. There is, of course, always a possibility to make different design options when measuring as well, because you can always toggle back to the old design view that is called the studio view by using this button here, and that will toggle to the old user interface. I can display that quickly, but then we do no longer see the set value panel, and the template is viewed in the old view, and you have the old measurement controls and a lot of more options. But we hope that this new test view will make it easier when you're doing measurements, so that you're not confused by a lot of options you may not ever use when running a test. That's all from me.
Thank you, David. And then we'll see. Just hang on a bit. So now we're back, hopefully, and we'll see here. Thanks. That was just a little bit of a live demo there of the test, the functionality of the favorites, which I think is quite good. And also the big benefit there is that we have the drag and drop possibility, so you can drag and drop RTI examples into the favorites folder and build it from there. So that should make it a lot easier. Yes, and like David was saying, there is this toggle function of between the test view and studio view, so what we had before, and you see up top these two arrows. That's what toggles you between test view. From here, if you click that, you'll then end up in the studio, which we recognize from before. So with all the different design options, and you don't have the set value panel, etc. And then you can toggle back after you've done some modifications or changes. But the idea is to make the life easier, much easier for the person using templates, so that we'll hopefully end up in a situation where we have the use of templates being as easy as working with Quick Check. Sorry. So this is a bit of a review of what we have, and a short presentation of the news in Ocean with regards to templates. So we'll now move into myRTI, which is the first step in the series of added functionality that we'll have with interactions in onto the web with the web-based services. And myRTI is the first step, like we say. So it's a portal for customers, RTI customers, that we have on the web, similar to what other manufacturers have. When you're buying an electrical toothbrush or a lawnmower, you're often prompted and suggested to register your device onto a customer portal. This is the same idea. So this gives us a possibility of providing a new way of providing services to the end users through that portal. One easy and quite interesting feature is the possibility of storing the calibration certificates on a digital repository, a digital file in the web, accessible through myRTI portal. So that if you have registered when you start up, you will then have access to the calibration certificate. How that looks, we'll look at that in a moment. You'll also have access to relevant manuals. So at the click of a button when you check in through your portal, you have the relevant manuals. Through that, you will also get calibration reminders that, hey, listen up, it's soon time to start thinking about calibration. So prepare for that. There's also be a log of the measurement data. Now this is not going to be yet a database, a full database, ocean database. But it's going to be a log of the measurements that you've made with the instrument over time. So it's just going to record the values by using. We'll also look at that in just a little while. And to have access to this, you need to register your Ocean device. You need to create an account within 30 days of installing Ocean Next 2.0. So that's and then you're recommended to log on every 30 days to update and get the latest information that is relevant to your device. And that's to synchronize that the information you have every 30 days. That's the idea. So we have an instance, myRTI, that's your web portal. And to access that, there are several ways. One is from your home screen, or backstage, which you recognize. Up here to your right, you have a symbol here, which is generic. This is your home or your user account symbol, so to speak. So if you click on that, that will then open up your web browser and take you to this page where you have the possibility then, if you aren't already logged in, it will allow you to log in through this port. But it's a single sign-on. So if you're signed into in one place, you'll have easier to log in on the other one. You can also log in through the support site. If you look here down to your left on the myRTI tab, it says free access for myRTI users. So you have free access and the possibility then to log in when you and access your information there. So when you're logged in, you'll have a slightly different view. It's like with all other user accounts on the internet, your name pops up and you have the possibility to stay logged on, and that's handled by your browser, of course, or you can log out when you need or want to when you have that. So these are the ways that is done. Creating the account, that's something that is going to be you'll be prompted to create an account when you install Ocean Next 2.0. So this it will guide you through that process. So, but these are the ways that you can access the myRTI, the portal, and once you're there. So when we walk into the myRTI, once you then start using your Ocean and you have used it for measurements and connected meters to it and probes, it will start filling up with data. So this is myRTI. When you log in, this is the view you have on the web site when you log in. You have three panels. One is here for meter info, another one for logs, and the third one for support. And here to your right, you've got some information panels as well with messages or actions needed to have optimum performance out of it. So if you look at the meter info tab, if we click on that, not that tab, but that icon, you will be brought to a page where a list of all your devices that have been used pops up. So if you're borrowing it somewhere from your colleague, or if you only use your own, or if you've been having a loaner instrument from RTI, all that information will pop up here. So everything that has all the devices, probes, etc., who have been connected to your Ocean installation will pop up here. So that information comes from Ocean and is then pushed through a service called Ocean Sync. So it synchronizes the data from your Ocean installation up into this cloud or web-based instance. So this looks at it, it gets the serial numbers of it. Also here, already you'll have a possible an alert if something, if one of your devices or probes or instruments or meters are approaching calibration, that you'll get a reminder that, hey, it's time to calibrate if that is the case. So if you want to take a look at what's behind there, you can click on these icons as well, these image fields, to get more information about that meter or that probe. And that information is quite a lot. It tells you what type it is, what serial number. It tells you what the version of hardware and license level, etc., when it was last used, and what probes have been used together with this specific meter. So if you're a group and you're sharing probes, you'll be able to see how that usage looks. So see here, there's probes used with this meter, and we'll give you then the serial number of the different probes that have been used with this meter running your Ocean installation, your Ocean software. All right. Then there's also the possibility of having access to the calibration certificates for this meter only. And of course, this is a Piranha Multi, so we have quite a few calibration certificates available. But if we take a look at this one and click on there, you'll see there's a PDF file where you have a PDF of that calibration certificate, date, time, the number, certificate number, etc. So you have that traceability for that specific calibration certificate, which of course could come in handy. Now, this is not retroactive, so if you have an old instrument with an old calibration, older than now, or we said from April this year, every calibration performed from April and onwards, those calibration certificates will be available through this interface. So anything older than that, any calibration older than that, you'll have to if you want this on your myRTI, you need to let the service know, and for a nominal fee, you'll have that. You could have that uploaded and accessible through this the myRTI. Otherwise, it'll be there next time you calibrate, or next time you buy a new instrument. You'll have the calibration certificates accessible through the myRTI portal. There's also then interesting to be able to find information, documentation for it. So if you click up here, I will take a closer look there. You see you'll be able to download software, relevant software. You have relevant application notes, brochures, and manuals for the Piranha So you'll have access to that, which is quite useful. So next type of information here is the logs, and that's then the data logs that we have from the measurements made. So if you click on there, you see that you'll have exposure logs. And this is just a log, a continuous log of the sessions, so to speak, or the measurement sequences that you've had. For instance, if you make a quick check and then exit quick check, that is one of these logs. So this is not just one measurement, it's a bunch of measurements, a session, so to speak, or on-off sequence that you have. But it is a time-stamped and collected in this way, just one after the other, with no other fancy stuff in between. So if we decide to take a look at one of these logs, if we click on one of these rows, you'll see that you've got some meter info, tells us what meter it was. It was a Piranha 657. And then we've got some measurements below. This was just 2 measurements, but that's what we have. And we have the measurements that we get from the instrument. So in this case, it's a Piranha 657. From there, we get the kV, we get time, we get exposure, dose rate, HVL, and total filtration. Those are the values that we get. So that's all the information. There's no analysis involved there. It's just the raw data from the instrument itself. All right, so and if we click on one of these rows, we clicked on the first row, it expands and it gives us also an image of the waveform. So this is not the waveform in full resolution that we have through the measurement file in Ocean. This is just a graphical representation of it, an image of it with not as high a resolution. But in many cases, it's good, it's interesting, it's good enough for posterity to be able to track something like this. It also gives you a timestamp down to the second, May 10th, 15:45 and 48 seconds, and what beam quality we use, so we have that information saved. And as you see here, in this case, in this instance, in this example, we've had the site information activated for this. This is a quick check for this quick check measurement. So it will then tell us where we were and the location. So the location is then taken from the site information that we've selected, if it's possible, if it's there. But it gives us information of the Piranha, which application it was, what version, the Piranha, and all the serial number, all the dates, etc. that we have available for it as we move along. So that's kind of neat. It allows us some form of traceability, some form of record of what has been done and what we did. And what the data was. So it's but it's still limited, but it could be interesting to keep a record. Just a small hint here also, and if you look at the different measurements here, down here, we have one which is tag. And if you remember that we had tag as a possibility in quick check, we could add a tag for a measurement in quick check. This is where the tag appears if we choose to activate tag in quick check. So you can tag it for some reason so that you can look at, so they can trace and find it up here and then correlate it and identify the measurement that you've saved before. So this is then just like a record to see what you've been what the meter has been doing for the future. So this is the first step. Note that is not the full ocean database. This is a record of the measurements, the measurement data being made. That's about all. We're working on some more functionality, but this is what we have at the moment for this. All right, the last panel there, or the last field here, is then for support. So if we click on there, we have it takes us to directly to the support site, where we have all the information about the contact details for support. If we want it from the global, or from our colleagues in the US and who handle the US and Canada, our support center there, that's the contact details for it. All right. And then there's some other than around myRTI. We talked about the Ocean Sync. This is then the Ocean Sync software, the panel that we have. It runs in the background, and this is what it looks like if, for some reason, the synchronization has been lost. The Ocean Sync is not running. You see the small icon up here. You've got a red exclamation mark indicating that something is wrong with synchronization, and then this pops up. So then it requires us to sign in the Ocean synchronization application for us. So you just click on the sign in, enter your username, password, and off you go. And that's way. Or you can decide to log in through this. Click on this arrow and log in that way, and activate and reactivate the Ocean Sync application. All right, then finally, just a small hint here about the usage of the single sign-on. Once you've registered your Ocean Next instance and you have a myRTI account, you have a single sign-on possibility that can be used also for the training portal, so that you don't have to worry about another password or getting it. You'll access all the available contact in the training portal. So up here you see the address. That's a Litmus installation, litmus.com. That's you'll find that on our website if you want to. So if you want to log in and access the free account, you can log in with your myRTI account. So you don't. All you need is one login for that. If you haven't been to the Ocean to the training portal, this is a good opportunity to do so. You automatically generate an account when you log in with myRTI. If you have one from before, don't worry, just go and log in with your myRTI account, and you'll have access to all the free content that we have on the training portal. And of course, we'll be adding more and more training content when we as we get more information and more trainings and more material on there. All right, so that I think concludes this presentation of the Ocean Next 2.0 and myRTI, which we're excited to launch. So if there are any questions, or what questions do you have out there? All I hear is silence, and I take that as a positive, that this has been crystal clear and there's full understanding of everything that I've said, which is really, really positive for me. So, but if there are no more further questions, I thank you for your attention, And if something pops into your mind, of course, you have your area sales manager to contact. This webinar has been recorded, so this will be available also through our website, web portal. And so with that, I thank you very much and have a good day.